Hello, welcome back. All right. So at this point, you would have hopefully done a few days worth of that practice where you're listening to that space between the breath, finding that silence. Not only in the meditation practice that I taught you in the first video, but also throughout your day, checking in, saying, is there silence? Can I find a space of silence? Can I be more aware of the silence? And dropping into it. So if you did, then ideally you're a bit less stressed. Your nervous system is starting to balance itself a bit because it's not always firing because there's a threat of noise everywhere. And you feel a bit more at peace. Yeah, cool. We're already working with the power of sound, or the lack thereof sound, hey? And so with that, we can start to move into a listening. So from the silence, then is the listening. And from the listening, then is an expression. And so if we look at the basis then of what's going on in this sound circle that I mentioned in the first video, got awareness plus intention plus the sound equals the healing of the transformation. And on top of those sits awareness. You've got the silence, which we explored in the last session. Underneath the intention, or on top of the intention, we've got the listening, which we're going to explore now. And then over the top of the sound, we've got the expression. That's how the sound gets out. So it's silence, listening, expression is the external ring of that circle, sound circle. All right. Now, listening, we're already there. We've already created a space, and we can go into the listening. And this is really important to start from the right place anyway. See, what we tend to do, we're really conditioned to listen to all the noises around us and to listen to our own inner voice or chatter. But if we drop down, there's layers and layers of more subtle sounds that we get to tune into. Our heart's beating, our breath is breathing, even the blood's flowing through it. It's rushing through all aspects of our body. You know, you cup your ear and you can hear the sound of that blood rushing through your ear. And so these subtle sounds of the physiology, as well as, you know, if you want to get out with a little bit more in the woo-woo land, we come into energetic vibrations and frequencies. So the sound of your chakras or your nervous system even creates a sound. The firing of nerves and neurons actually has a sound to it. It's outside of our hearing, but some say if you're in like a deprivation chamber, you can actually hear that because there's so much silence. It allows a space for the hearing of the nervous system actually firing. How crazy is that? I don't know how true that is, but I've heard that before. Not the nervous system, but that. So there's these subtle sounds that we want to tune into first before we get lost in the noise and the sounds outside of ourselves, which will take us on that journey of stress and chaos. So we want to find harmony within. And where's the best place to find harmony? It's through the breath and the beat of our heart, which both contain a rhythm that is consistent and is constantly thriving in our bodies as long as we're living. So this is our reference point. And through this meditation that's attached to this video will guide you into a listening of that heart, of that breath. It'll be the same posture. And then we're going to lean a little bit into the expression, a little bit of sound then coming out, which we'll talk about in the last session. But for this, it's a listening. Listen to the heart and the breath. And then ultimately, you'll start to come into harmony. Just listening to it, putting your attention on it, will then allow for it to start to balance and start to harmonize. And you will come into harmony or coherence with those rhythms. Your mind will start to quiet. Your emotions will start to balance. And the four components, which I call your vibrational signature, will come into balance or harmony together. Your breath, your body, your mind, and your emotions. So in the 7-session course, which I've got the book over my shoulder here, the Love Your Vibe book, it's a 7-session journey that takes you into really taking command of yourself and your life through these concepts of sound, the awareness, the listening, the expressing. In there, I talk about these four components, which I refer to as the vibrational signature. And in essence, what it is that we hold a vibration, which is the sum total of those four things: our breath, our body, our mind, and our emotions. So that's creating a frequency, a transmission, a vibration, a state of being in us that ultimately then is sent out into the world around us and creates an atmosphere of vibration, a state around us that then becomes the experience of life that we have. So it all starts inside. And so as we create more harmony with this, our breath, our body, our mind, our emotion, then we create more harmony around us. And we ultimately then get to experience a life full of harmony or peace. There's another word for it. So enjoy this practice. It's the audio's attached to this. You can download it, listen to it as many times as you want, and start to go into this place of listening. And like before, with the first one, you wanted to bring more awareness to the silence in your day. See if you can listen more deeply in your day. I do this all the time. I put my hand in my on my chest and my belly, like especially when I'm in the line at Kohl's or something, you know, and the woman in front of me is buying like 85 cans of cat food, and she's beeping them one at a time in the self-serve line, right? Beep, beep, 85 cans of cat food. I'm like, oh my gosh. And what am I doing? I'm getting stressed out. Stress response, not only from the beeping, beep, 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 but also because this lady's taking forever and I don't want to sit there and wait for her to beep all over cat food. I hope she's got a dozen cats and not just one. But anyway, I go in and I just sit, and you can do this, you know, you sit in this posture and remind yourself, listen inside to the harmony, the rhythm of life that is moving in a pattern of thriving, of peace, you know. And then I drop in, the world around me gets more peaceful. I'm not so worried about the lady and her cat food or whatever the stressor is outside of myself. So this practice can be adapted to be utilized in your everyday life to create an inner listening that then takes you away from the external stress response of the chaotic stuff that's going on around us. Hope that makes sense. So dive into this practice, do it a few days, and then you'll receive this third video that starts to talk about the third component, the expressing or the sound component of this journey. So enjoy this, and we'll see you for the next video. Love your vibe.